All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to the channel. We're just us guys talking today. So I've got some real good friends here on with me, and we're going to talk everything PRS and NRL, life in general. We're going to solve the country's problems probably before we're all said and done. So I got with me here Tavis Haw, Jude Pastoral, and Gary Page. Say hi, guys.
Hi, how you
y'all
doing?
doing?
All right, Tavis, how about starting us up, man? Let us know who you are.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Tavis Haw. I'm based out of San Antonio. Started shooting PRS. Shot my first match in 2021. And then 2023, I shot a lot of matches, a lot of club matches. And, keeping it going this year.
Awesome, awesome. Mr. Jude.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Jude. Let me see. I just started my third year this year, so I've shot a couple years now. But you know, it's a rabbit hole, man.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you say, Gary?
Oh,
How y'all doing? I'm Gary. I've been shooting since late 2018, just out the northern San Antonio area, Blanco. I switched up calibers this year. I'm shooting a 6 BRA this year. It has been excellent by far. Enjoying it. Yeah, and going to continue it.
Awesome, awesome. And guys, as always, I'm your host, Oscar Salazar from Kingsville, Texas, and home of Rifles Only. And we're just doing these videos just kind of get with, everyday shooters like these guys and just see what's going on with them. So, Gary, I'm going to let you lead kind of in there. And the question I want to present to all three of y'all is, what's your caliber this year, your caliber of choice? Let's start us off, Gary. I know you kind of already got going there.
Yeah, I'm shooting a 6 BRA this year. It's been very good. I know a lot of shooters in the area that have been shooting 6 BRA this year as well. I used to shoot 6XC. I'm enjoying the BRA. It's a little bit of recoil management, definitely from that perspective. You don't give up much BC. I was shooting a DTAC before. I'm shooting a 105 now. And it's I've enjoyed shooting it. Recoil, I've been able to spot my impacts better. It's helped my game a little bit. I've been seeing this year. So,
you know what? While we're at it, and I guess I'll just kind of add this to the question to each one of y'all. Gary, take us through your rifle there. You know, as far as your chassis, trigger, scope, action.
Certainly. The 6 BRA, Terminus Zeus action. I've got a foundation stock. I'm shooting a Trigger Tech trigger, single stage. I'm running a Z-Comp, the typical 5 to 27X. It's the 2X, the new 2X they came out with just here year and a half ago. Loving it. Barrel, I got a Bartlein 28-inch straight. I have enjoyed the weight of that. I used to shoot a MPU or a M24, both of those on a 26. I've liked the weight distribution a little bit better. Yeah, it's been good this year so far.
How low you got your trigger set?
4 to 6 ounces.
Ooh.
Yeah, very light.
I like it. You know, and I'll just kind of finish that off here. Just this year, I went with a 28-inch. I usually always been going with 24, 26, and then somebody just told me, man, just go 28, and I did, and I absolutely love it. I don't know that I'd go 4 ounce. I think my trigger set around 8 or 9 ounces, and that's about as low as I'm too chicken to go any lower than that.
Yeah, but I just recently, actually, I traded triggers with Tavis here on the show. I was shooting a 2-stage since 2018. And I was like, you know what? I need to change a couple of things this year. I want to try a single stage. I shot Jude's single stage for just a little bit, and traded Tavis and went to the single stage, and I think that's helped out quite a bit as well. So anyway,
Yeah.
I've been enjoying my single stage. But.
Well, and just for all the viewers out there, just so y'all know, full disclosure, all four of us shot the Best in Texas here a few weekends ago, and we all squatted together. So I saw each of these guys shoot. These guys are phenomenal shooters, and they're just great people all the way around. So I saw Gary, and he had some hell of a stages. So his equipment is on par. It's on point. All right, with that, we'll head on to Mr. Tavis.
Sure. Go over the rifle. So I'm shooting a 6GT, shooting an Impact, Bartline barrel, 28-inch straight taper, liking the Ace brake on the end of that, MDT Elite chassis. And so up until this coming Saturday, I've been shooting a Z-Comp 5-25, whatever the standard one is. But I'm actually going to be shooting my Leupold. I've got a new Leupold in the house from DI Precision. With that one, I can attach the trigger cam. And so the plan is I'm going to shoot with the Leupold and the trigger cam for a little while so I can get some feedback. I can go and review footage, see what my reticle looked like, see what my stability looked like. Use that as a training aid. And
what about triggers?
Yeah, trigger. So Gary mentioned we traded a while back, but I started shooting the Trigger Tech 2-stage. So now I'm really liking that. Got it set to about 10, maybe 11 ounces, depending on what my trigger scale is doing that day. And carrying Gary's old trigger around in my pack as a backup, just in case.
Yeah, that's well, I shouldn't say that. I need to start carrying a spare trigger. I carry a spare rifle, but I need a trigger as well, just to have it. So,
Yeah.
What actions are you using?
So I'm shooting Impact, the 737. Really liking that, super smooth. Something about the spare triggers. If you go to like Preston, Texas, or you're shooting up at Prentice's place, he's got spare parts for days. But a lot of the other places you go to, especially if you're shooting a club match in the middle of nowhere, there might not be a whole lot of spare parts floating around.
Yeah. Well, and I know, again, for those viewers who don't know, we pretty much, I think all of us are, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think everybody on this podcast is going to be going to Little Rock.
Yep.
Gary, you still going? Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
we are all going. And that's why I am not traveling 10, 12 hours and then have something go down and I can't stay in the match, even though, I'm not going to be first place or nothing, but I always take a spare rifle, always. And one of them is, I use the Impact action as well. And, I love it, but I think I love the people more, the people that run it. Tate Streeter is, just a great person. I got to meet him here and talk to him a couple of times, and not so much the equipment. It's like scopes. You can find scope. Just about every scope out there pretty much is going to do the job. But to me, it's the people. The people at Leupold, or even with my sponsor Apex. Man, these guys are the best. Super easy to deal with. But yeah. Tavis, looking forward, man. Looking forward. Like I say, I shot with Tavis here at the Best in Texas. Heck of a shot. And, Mr. Jude.
Yes, sir. So I started with a 6GT up till about October last year. I switched to a 6BRA. I use a Terminus Zeus quick change with a 28-inch Brux barrel with a Cortina Precision brake. And I also shoot a KRG C4. I'm a chassis guy, but I'll shoot anything as long as it feels comfortable. But
Yeah,
I also shoot a Zero Compromise 5-27 with the Impact 3 reticle. Can't complain about their scope.
No.
I mean, it's out there. You know, it's really really well made. I use a SkyPod for my bipod. And I'm getting ready to switch probably back to my suppressor. I miss having a suppressor. Being civilized is really nice.
What
You know.
what barrel length are you going to go with?
I'm gonna drop down to a 24-inch. Still a BRA, but we'll see how it plays out this weekend. And but I still have backup parts too. And I love that Zeus that you can just switch barrel if you need to, just in case it goes down. You don't need no tools. As far as trigger, I use the Trigger Tech Diamond single stage, and I run mine right at 4 ounces. Even my hunting rifle is a 4 ounces.
Yeah.
Since
I'm gonna have to probably test out y'all's triggers before I lower mine. I don't know.
you shoot a match. You shoot 100 rounds, at least 120 rounds a day at a match. You shoot a 2-day match. You shoot about 250, 300 rounds over the weekend. You do it for a few years. You kind of get used to it. You know, you train with it. That's what you're used to.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I get it. People get scared, you know, 4 ounces on the trigger. But if that's what you train with, if you're about to shoot an animal at a certain distance, the last thing that you want to have issue with is you're pulling on the trigger and it's not shooting because you're not used to it anymore. So
safety, like 5 pound,
you know,
10-pound trigger on there.
Right. You know, you're like you shooting a 2-pound trigger compared to a 4 ounces worth of trigger pull. It's not going to be the same. You're going to end up jerking that trigger. So, but if that's what you train with, you know, it's going to be like consistency. Then it's doable. You know, it's doable.
Yeah.
It's just different type of safety.
I have been called a trigger slapper before, so that kind of works. So I kind of like it though, man, that you and Gary shoot BRA, and me and Tavis are the gay tigers.
Yeah. Something else about this group.
I still have my gay tiger. You know, it's still there it's still in the toolbox somewhere. I still have everything, but you know, I'm recoil sensitive. I'm recoil sensitive. You know.
Yeah.
Because the GT has so much recoil.
So, all three of you guys do your own hand loads?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. See, that's where I'm left out, man. I shoot the Hornady GT factory ammo, and it's great. Not that I don't want a hand load, but I'm just not. At least for me, I'm just saying for me, my opinion. I'm not the type of shooter that I think that all that is going to help me move up. You know, I am what I am. I'm a mid-pack shooter, especially in a national match. It's kind of hard to compete against those top guys. You know, they just got too much firepower, and they're just too good. So I shave a little time off. You know, like I was explaining to Tavis off camera here, is I work out of town. And I'm gone like a week, and then I'll be home a week. Gone. So the last thing I want to do while I'm home is, you know, be trying to do ladder tests and everything, taking time away from the family. And so, plus the Hornady ammo is it's good stuff. It's good enough. But so let's move on to, and I know Jude, you kind of mentioned it. I'm a civilized shooter. I love my Thunder Beast. I think right now I probably have about 6 suppressors, everything from Griffin armaments to from my AR stuff. OSS, I think, is probably in the AR world. OSS is the best. That's just my opinion. And then of course my Thunder Beasts for I got a 7-inch and a 5-inch for my bolt guns. And any of you guys running suppressed?
Well, actually, we all do. We all have suppressors. Everybody does.
We all have
in competition. In competition.
No,
I never run a competition suppressed.
I ran suppressed all last year, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, my barrel length. You know, I think Jude and I were both running 22-inch barrels for a good portion of last year. I felt like it was a little tougher to stabilize the 22-inch. It just kind of had a little bit more of that play. I feel like the 28 is a bit more settled. But if you're trying to move in and out of barricades and you got a 28-inch barrel and a 6-inch suppressor,
Yes.
so I think there's a middle ground in there. I just haven't quite gotten there yet. Maybe a straight taper 24 like Jude's going to. That might be the ticket.
Yeah, I know going from my Thunder Beast 7 Ultra or Ultra 7 versus my Ultra 5, doesn't sound like a big difference, but it is. It is. I felt it. And the Best in Texas that we shot with y'all was the first match that I shot it. Of course, you guys know that the suppressor wait times are like super short right now. And
You just can't find suppressors right now.
I had, yeah. So now's the time. You know, for anybody out there in viewer land, you want a suppressor, now's the time. So moving on. Let's talk bags. Mr. Tavis,
Just
what
put
is
an order
your
in.
bag of choice?
Sure, yeah. So in certain spots, certain awkward slanty positions, I like the Weebad. I like that big fat sandy Weebad. The one that Jude carries
The heavy
around. Yeah. But for kind of my general, like if I'm going to run the barricade or something kind of standard, I'm a Schmedium guy. Last Armageddon Gear Schmedium. But last night I saw that the Schmedium Plus Ones came available, so I snagged one of those. I'll be trying that out.
Which
It's
one is
it's
What did they say
Schmedium
the weight
with 1 extra inch.
is that the one?
How much weight?
So that's the Jake Vibbert, right? The one that he sells.
I think is he JC Steel Targets?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I actually picked up that bag off of a price table, and I didn't realize it was the Plus One, but that is a very good bag. However, I have to admit, pretty much anything from Weebad, those are my guys.
Yeah.
But I do like the Plus One. It also works very well. And
Yeah.
and I'll tell you another thing. Well, let me just continue with you, Tavis.
Sure.
So that's on a rest. What do you use for rear bag?
Yeah, for rear bag, I use the full size Game Changer. Lightweight.
Light fill or medium or
Get light.
heavy? Yeah. I'll go back around this way, Mr. Jude. If I could
So
tell you
for
one
me-
bag, you can only take one bag to war. Which one is it going to be?
I'll probably take my Schmedium. I'll take a Schmedium if that's the one bag that I can use. But of course, just like everybody else, we have 10,000 bags. There's never
No.
one bag that there's no one bag that does it all. You gotta get all of them.
Don't forget your
I
gamer
hope,
plate.
I hope my wife doesn't watch this.
Yeah, it's like I'll take a Schmedium. Schmedium is a good bag, but if I needed something a little bit more heavier, I also use a Weebad. They're full size fortune cookie with a heavy fill. Like I like the
Yeah.
feel of the sand better. It seems like the chassis. It seems like or any kind of stock, it would settle into the sand a lot better. So it's good for stability.
Yeah.
But,
And I'm going to throw
you know,
a little plug in here for Weebad, and the one thing I like, everybody makes a good bag, right? But the one thing I like about, the owners, Robert and David are phenomenal guys. They really, they're out there not only shooting, but not only on the price tables, but they also RO. They were
They
Best in
are.
Texas. These guys are just, I can't say enough good things about them, but I'm gonna tell you the one most impressive thing I've liked about them is that when I've called them with ideas like, hey man, I want this bag, but I want it to do this. Can you? And they're like, hey, yeah, let me get you in touch with so and so, and then a few weeks later, here's a prototype. We're gonna ship it to you and let us know. And if you like it, this is what it costs. If you don't, send it back. I love those guys, because of that. And I have some bags that are probably one-offs. that just work for me. So I will say that's my favorite part about them.
I'll tell you my
So,
favorite part about
Mr. Gary. Oh yeah.
real quick. They sponsored the Alamo Club finale last year. They also have they're sponsoring at least the next match we have on Saturday with the 50%
Yep.
sportsmanship award. So
Yep.
50% off cert. And that's something like you don't see sponsors really in prizes at club matches, but WeBad's doing that, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah, those guys are a class act. I can't say no good things about it. Mr. Gary.
My one bag this year has been a WeBad Tater Tot, the blue kind of the waterproof sand fill that they, maybe not waterproof, but the blue bag they have, the Tater Tot. This year, before that, I was using the WeBad, the mini fortune cookie, and I just decided this year, hey, I'm going to go up a little bit bigger bag, and I think a little bit from the stability, it's helped just a little bit more. I've got a little bit more stability, I think I've seen this year than with the mini fortune cookie versus I've been running the Tater Tot this year, and I've liked it a ton.
What do you use for a rear bag?
Same bag. I use the same bag all the time. Rear bag, I'll throw the Tater Tot back there. I'll either flip it up on its side so it's double folded up to give me a little bit more height, or if I'm down low, then I'll set my rifle back right in the middle of it and let it sink. So I use the same bag all the time.
Nice. All right. Next topic. And I think we're going to be all about the same, but let's talk about rifle weights. What more or less, what weight are y'all running on your rifles?
Ooh, mine is like a 22 pounds right now. So I'm at 22 pounds, and I'm trying to figure out a way to drop the weight, because when you're trying to move, it gets pretty heavy when you're having to move too much. So when you shoot PRS matches, it is very doable. I mean, it's geared towards that. But if you try to shoot a different match, let's say like some kind of outlaw match, they try to go the opposite way, where they don't want you to be shooting a 22-pound rifle. So they will design a stage where if you have a heavy rifle, it's not going to be to your favor. Kind of like Rifles Only. It's either he will have you, he will have you do like standing sling only. It's very hard to do a sling only on a 22, 23-pound rifle trying to shoot a target at 400 yards. So it's never going to happen. But, that's just, that's just the way it is. It's an outlaw match. They do that. But I just recently shot a match in Florida, the one in Altus, the Accuracy International. Yes. And that match was not geared for a PRS rifle. It's a minute and a half, 12 rounds, 12 targets, 12 different distance. It's not meant for a 22-pound rifle. You're not going to get all of it. So when you have a 22-pound rifle, not going to happen, So same thing. That's just the way it is. So you gotta like pick your battle. But yeah, for me right now, it's 22 pounds.
Gotcha.
Mr. Gary.
I just found a picture. I had sent to one of the guys here. 23.4. I don't know if you see the scale. 23.4 was recently. Oh, that was, I don't know, probably 3-4 months ago. I've enjoyed the weight this year. I've had it a little, probably a pound or 2 pounds less in the past, and it was mainly due to barrel, a little scope, but mainly due to the barrel. So I'm shooting the 28-inch straight now instead of the 26. But I've the weight hadn't bothered me. It's been nice to have the weight and help out the recoil management as well. I think stability and recoil, and it's been good.
Yeah. Gotcha. Mr. Tavis.
Yeah, so right now I haven't weighed mine since I made some modifications. I took some weights out of all the internal weights out of my ACC chassis, So I've got no weights on the gun. That barrel weighs 9 pounds by itself, though. So I just dropped from the ZCO down to the Leupold, which is the Leupold's a lot lighter. So I'm probably at about 21 and a half, 22 pounds, I would bet. But yeah, running with the 28-inch barrel, straight taper with weights in it. I was at a training class down at Altus in January, trying to climb up on one of those big rocks they have. I whacked myself in the face with my gun trying to climb up on a rock. Like it was too much. I had to get rid of all that junk.
Yeah, and it's good you mentioned that, because I had to change up my weight configuration when I went to the 28 ounce, or the 28 pound. I mean, or I should say the 28 inch. I'm thinking that barrel just added. It's not so much added the weight, but changed the center of gravity. So now I got to change up, my weight system and how I did things, and it cost me. It bit me a little bit in a match I went to without doing it, and I kind of quickly learned. I go, okay, let me move this weight this way and take another one off, and until I finally got a good center point of gravity. But yeah, I get you. So we're all running 28, so I think we're all in the same boat.
That center of gravity, you get up on a fence post with a bag and your gun starts tilting forward or backward or anything on you, and it's very important to help you out there. If you don't have a tripod rear, you can't do anything like that. The centerness on your gun, knowing your point of center is very important from that standpoint.
When we shot the bus stage at Beston, Texas, having that center is key when you're shooting off of those windows. I didn't use a tripod, and I just tried to manhandle my way through it. Not one of my best stages, but yeah, you got to have it. All right, so while we're talking about Beston, Texas, give me you guys's, let's say, favorite stages to shoot and not so favorite stages to shoot. Tavis, we'll kick it off with you.
Okay. Favorite stage.
Or stage you'd like to shoot.
Yeah, so I'm always a fan of rock stages. So there's kind of three potential ones at Texas Precision. So we shot off kind of that big rock pile. I really enjoyed that stage. Almost cleaned it. I think I missed my last shot and wanted to cry. I really enjoyed that one. I just love shooting off in natural terrain, just kind of no matter what. That's kind of the most natural thing we have there. My least favorite, gotta think about that one.
Stage 10.
Honestly, that wasn't my least favorite. There was a lot going on, and I felt like I had it mostly kind of figured out. There's a lot of moving. And I feel like with some practice, I feel like I could probably get farther along through that one. So that actually wasn't my least favorite one. I do like the complicated stages. My least favorite was probably the shoot house.
From any match, it doesn't have to be necessarily Beston, Texas.
That's fair. It's kind of hard for me to think of a least favorite. I'd say probably the shoot house, because that prop has just got that extra wobble in it. It looks like it should be nice and stable when you plop your gun down, but there's like no backings behind some of those cutouts. So as soon as you fire, that whole wall just starts moving. So that's probably my least favorite.
Yeah, trying to fit in those little tiny windows too on a couple of them.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Mr. Gary, take us up.
So I guess my favorite stage of that match, I cleaned the last stage. It was the fence post. I was like, I get to go home with a clean. I was happy. The fence posts have been pretty good to me in the past. Some of the other stages that I like there, I've usually liked that stage where I think it was stage 1 this time. you jump up on the table and then you come down to the underneath the X, and you gotta. And sometimes he's had you pan way to the right. This one he kind of kept your pan the same way, so you just basically are on the table. Then you came down and shot the same targets again. I think I did okay on that one, but least favorite, I don't know if I had a least favorite there at that match. That the stage 10 was complicated, but I kind of like Tavis. I enjoy the complication, make you think a little bit. It's going to separate definitely the people on the top from the people on the bottom, from the mid range shooters, and we're all in the mid range here. So, but no, overall I thought the match was. I enjoyed the match. But I was just kind of trying to look back through my scorecards and see if I could remember a little better from that match.
Mr. Jude.
So for me, probably my favorite stage in that match would be the shoot house, because I finally get to shoot that stage, not having to have rear tripod, and actually just drop 1 point. And it's very hard to do on that stage.
Yes.
It's very wobbly. It's hard to get your rifle stable when a window is that small. You can't use your normal full-size bags. But if you can find a way to get stable without a rear tripod, that's a win for me. It's always been my goal, is to be able to do something without a lot of crutch. So I think that's one of my best stage for me. The worst stage for me is probably stage 10, like Gary said. It's not that. Probably if I had a little bit more time to prepare. The problem was I was the first shooter on there in that stage, and it's very confusing. It's a lot of moving, and it's a lot of changing targets. So for me, I didn't have enough time to prepare that stage. So I got lost. I shot wrong targets, different targets, and wrong distances, different dial. It was just a mess. So, but I think if I was somewhere in the middle of the shooting list, I'd probably do better. It's just that I didn't have enough time to prepare. But that's the nature of a 2-day pro match. You can't, there's not. You just got to keep going with it. That's part of it.
Yeah.
So.
I think let me see. It was Nathan, right? Tungate that won the match.
Right.
From MPA, and man, I love Nate. I think he dropped 5 the entire 2 days. If I'm, he dropped like 5 or 6. I mean, I'm curious to see how he did on that stage 10, because that one was a ball buster. But I'll say now, if you guys have shot, I'll quickly jump into this question myself, because I really, out of all it's one thing about my job that I really learned to appreciate, is that it takes me all over the Midwest. I've been to Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Mississippi, everywhere. And, on my off days, I get to shoot. If there's a match, I've shot everywhere in all these different states. But the one stage that I can say I absolutely have the best time is at Rifles Only. And that one is the Jenny stage, the 8675309. If you guys have never shot it, that is one. Yeah, that is one that just always I have fun at it.
No, we were there last year. We were there when we almost passed out from the heat. We were there.
Yeah, yeah, that is the one stage. As far as my least favorite stage, I'm going to say anything that my right knee needs to bend, and then try to stand up. That one, yeah, mine. As you get older, you guys are young puffs still, but as you get older,
so I bet you don't like that table then, next to the tower.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
that's a doozy right there. When you got to move under the table.
I try to get my hits on the very first, little crossbar, and then I move into the second position, and that's it. I'm done right there. I think I have a video of it to where I just stayed stuck. My knee would not give, and I didn't want to take a chance of trying to force it and dropping my rifle, and I just said, "That's it, guys. I'm done." Bolt back, mag out.
I don't think I've ever gotten all my
I-
shots off under that table.
Yeah, that I think Jacob Bynum is probably one of has not. I'm not going to say the hardest stages. I'll just say the most creative. And he makes you think. You know, you're up on the tower, and it's like, hey, one shot for 10 points at 1,000 yards, or do the KYL. And you know, if that's like one of those stages where, you know what, man, Tavis got me by 7 points right now, but if I take that one shot, I could jump up ahead. You know, or I can zero the damn thing. So I really enjoy his matches.
I think on something like that, you have to take a chance. It's always going to be one of those things. I should have tried it. I think you should always go for it. You know, at the end of the day, it's just a match. No one's getting rich off of it. You know, just try it. If you hit it, wouldn't you be glad that you tried it? If you stop somewhere in the middle and you say, "Oh man, I got a 4. I could have hit it some more." I think you should always try it. Like you go for it all. I mean, if you drop a few points, you know, just go for it. I think that's the fun side of it. That's what makes those matches fun.
I agree.
You know,
I agree. I'm not going to be first place either way. So why not? Why not have a good time with it?
I have to go for that last shot on the KYL. Have to. I already have 4 or 5 targets. I have to go for the last one.
Man, I don't know how many times I've gone on the ride home and kicking myself because I took that extra shot. Damn it, why didn't I just stay with 6 points?
So let's go to something like that real quick. Like, so the last match I shot in Florida at Altus, one of the stage was the true KYL. You know, if you hit, you get to go again to the next target. If you miss, you're done. It's a true KYL setup. But every stage was a stage win, and every stage has a sponsor. And this one was sponsored by Collins. So every person that I saw, they shot and went for they went all the way to the end. So I went for it, and I missed the very last shot. The whole time I was holding center, and the very last shot, the wind just pushed it off the edge. It was a 2-inch plate right at 500 yards, and I just missed it. So I ended up getting a 0. Hey, but you know what? It was probably my best stage ever because I had a lot of fun, even though I got a 0. The guy that won that stage, I think he did it in 11 seconds and cleaned the stage. So he took that prize.
How do they do that?
11 seconds.
I don't get it, man.
That was the time.
You know, a lot of times, I'm just one of those gas gun freaks. I mean, I'll wake up the morning of a match and say, "Yeah, man, I'm running my 6 ARC today," even though I've been all, you know, I went to the range and zeroed my bolt gun and everything. No, I'm running a gas gun, and of course I regret it later, but I have fun doing it. And it's kind of like me and Jude. We shot the Rimfire match over at Garrett Willett's place at Texas Top Shots this past weekend. And of course, I love my 1022. I've got a custom Bergara. I've got a custom DI Precision. And what do I take? My 1022. I love it. But
and it only holds 9 rounds.
9 rounds. Don't get me started, dude. Don't get me. I was talking to Tavis about that earlier. But it's one of those things that just is to my detriment, but I have the best time. I love running semi-automatics. They're just a lot of fun to me, and that really goes back to my military days. You know, 35 years ago. 35 plus years ago now. But I really, really enjoy it. And there's some great gas gun guys out there that I've seen. You know, Dustin Skarup, a good friend of mine, and he's just an animal on a gas gun. You know, Eric Lee out there with in Fort Worth, he's another phenomenal shooter. Justin Lyons, those guys are just great. So I really, really enjoy shooting those. But getting back to, I kind of drifted off there. sometimes I wonder, man, how do these guys, like with Nathan, like, dude, how do you drop 5 points in 2 days? How is that possible? Those guys are just on a totally different level. And I wish I could be there, but I don't think I ever will. Those guys are just phenoms.
Man, some of those guys, man, they shoot a lot. They spend so much time training, but some of us just don't have the time. We're the average shooters. I mean, I really don't know anybody that makes money or do this as a living for a living. But
good point.
Man, but some of them are just naturally talented. I've shot. I've shot with the person that it's his like 3rd or 4th match, or he just started this year, and he's already like doing like, let's say, at least top 10 on the club match, which is on the club match, okay, fine, but still, for you to be consistently coming into the top 10 on the club match, and you just started shooting this year with no previous experience on the game, it's just amazing how these guys can shoot. It's just a totally different level.
And
some of them are just like that.
Getting back to what I said earlier about being able to go and shoot matches all over the country, I'll tell you, some of the guys that really, really impressed me, not that the Texas shooters don't. I mean, everybody's fantastic. But those guys in Missouri are just freaks of nature, man. I don't know how they, and to them, it's just like, I'm just going to shoot this match and I'm going to be in the top 3 every time, like no big deal. My good buddy, Leon Weatherby, this guy shot for Team USA a couple of years ago when they went to France, I think. And he's the owner of, I'll give him a little shout out, of L3I products, L3I Precision, if you know his stuff. Real good guy, great family. Another one, a good friend of mine, Greg Knoyer. Man, Greg just treats it as if it's just something to do on a Saturday, and just whipping just educating everybody. Fantastic guy too. Shirt off his back, man. He's just really good people. So I really enjoy going to Missouri and getting around the Show Me State guys and people like that. And I wish I would see them more national matches. But to them, it's just like, hey, it's not that important to us. And if they can just not pick up a rifle for 2 months and then pick it up and go to a match and be in the top 5, like, how do you do that?
While we were on that subject, I don't know if you noticed right after we finished the last stage on the second day, me, Tavis, Gary, and a few other guys, we were sitting by the trailer, and we just happened to be sitting in front of the other squad that was shooting, and it just happened to be Cale Harmon. So I was like, man, I've always wanted to see that guy shoot. He just took the Golden Bullet last year. I want to see how he shoots. And it just happened to be that the stage that he was shooting was the boat, the car, and the helicopter. And we were just watching him shoot. I swear to God, I was like, man, this guy's going to time out the way he moves. It was so smooth. He wasn't missing a beat. He cleaned the stage. After he finished the stage, he's still like, 20 seconds left?
Probably between 15 and 20, something like that. It was a lot.
It's like, wow. It's amazing how this guy's like approach a stage and actually run it. It's like, it's a totally different level of like efficiency and precision. It's like, we were like wondering, it's like, what happened? Did the timer even start? Because he had already left the stage, and I heard the timer go off. We're like, wow, he had that much time left. I was stumbling trying to get to the boat and time out. And this guy had already left the stage.
Yeah.
And
on the helicopter stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think I made it to the culvert.
The car.
That was it.
But
Done.
but that's what I'm saying. So there's like all these levels of shooters that you get to watch. It's amazing how people approach certain things, you know. But it takes time. It takes like a lot
Yes.
of like precision, and man, it's amazing to watch these guys shoot. You know, it's like if
Yeah.
you want to
Yeah.
learn something, man, those guys will show you how it's done, and they
I
deserve
tell
to be
you,
where they're at.
I tell you what, those guys from MPA, you know, Nathan and T. Rudisill, and those guys are fantastic shooters. And I think I learned, to your point, Jude, last year's Best in Texas, I squatted, and I think I told you all off camera, I squatted with the MDT guys. And I learned a ton just watching them, you know, and trying to emulate what they were doing. And it sure as heck, it did help me, you know. Chad Heckler and Michael Lilly and Paul Higley, those other guys. I mean, they were just. I was like, man, how did I get on this squad? And I was thankful for it, you know. So yeah, to your point, those national level matches, I think, are you if you know what to look for, and you know, just keep your ego in check, you can learn tons.
I mean,
Because
you can also. I mean, you can also learn from each other. I mean, me, Gary,
I learned from
Chavez,
you
we've been
guys.
shooting. I mean, we've been shooting together since what? At least since last year. Like
most of
together,
last year.
yeah, most of last year we started shooting together, and it's crazy how like we kind of come up together and shoot better every year, and it's awesome that you know no one's really like putting anybody down. All you do is like you help each other out. um there's a lot of things I learned from Tavis, a lot of things I learned from Gary that I would have never learned if I'd never shot with anyone else. You know, if I just kind of keep it to myself, I'd probably never learn half the things that I do right now.
You know,
What's
and
it called?
that's one
And
thing.
it makes it fun.
That's one thing, Jude. That you know, not only do I remember you guys. That's the first time I squatted with you guys. Was it here a few weeks ago, Best in Texas? And you know, I've seen y'all at different matches and stuff. But we've just never been on a squad together. And I would say, I was just telling my wife earlier before I said, hey, let me call you back later because I got to get on this podcast. Is that, and you know, Jude met my wife this weekend and this past weekend. So it was the one thing that I loved about you guys is that you're just real easy to get along with. And now that we're kind of all going to Little Rock, you know, I'm not just about to go 12 hours and spend all kind of money, you know, to be hanging out with a bunch of a-holes, you know. You guys, I couldn't have picked a better group of guys to with. Hopefully, we can all squad together.
But you,
and, you know, once the
then you
squatting
better start
comes out.
planning for Alabama too.
Yeah,
We're going to
You
Alabama
know,
too.
3 of us.
It's in the talks, man. I got it. And if I can't
There's
go,
more.
I'm gonna blame my wife if I can't go for some reason. But yeah,
Yeah, like if you're gonna go to Alabama, you better sign up now because it's almost sold out. We're on squad 9, so
somebody always sells their spot.
we're
Never
on squad
fails.
9, so it's almost full. So
All right.
like you should plan that out now, even though it's not till September. But
Well, let's lead into that. What is in the future for each of you guys? Let's start with Tavis.
Oh, so I haven't really thought that much. I mean, Little Rock, Alabama, those are the next two big matches, club matches every month. I did have a goal of going to a Guardian this year, but that's just not going to happen. Just doesn't fit into the schedule this year. I try to get to a Guardian every year. This will be the first year since I started shooting that I won't be at one, which does make me sad. But next year I'll try to go to one for sure, and that's fun because you travel somewhere. You know, we had 2 years in a row where we had Guardians in Texas, but last year I got to go to Colorado. So next year maybe I'll go to Washington or something like that if they hold it out there.
Nice, Mr. Jude. I know CPR, dude.
I'm all
All
right.
right there. Hey, I'll take over and let him go next. I don't think he heard you, Oscar.
Okay, good.
So I'm kind of in the same realm as Tavis. I'm going to shoot the Arkansas and Alabama with those two guys. Several club matches, I guess. We shoot a lot of times at Alamo, ATX every now and then. I wanted to shoot one or two NRL Hunter matches this year. I just have not been able to get my 6.5 where I want it to be. I changed my hunting rifle up a little bit and have not had a chance to. Otherwise, I'd like to shoot the NRL Hunter match. There's two of them that are coming up that are fairly close on the border of Texas, one inside, one outside New Mexico, I think, but I don't think I'm going to make it. I like how those matches are set up. I have not had the opportunity to do it yet, but in the future, I hope next year maybe. But this year, yep, hopefully.
You mentioned a place that I know they do other trainings and stuff, but I really hate when their matches come around. Is anything at ATX?
Oh,
That is a beautiful, beautiful place to shoot at.
it is. Reveille Peak is beautiful. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now,
There's
I missed the last one.
There's one here 2 weeks, I think on the 25th, I believe. So there's still a couple spots left, Oscar. I think he's been having it every 3 to 4 months now.
Right. I'll probably have to make the next one because I think I'm going to Top Shots on that one, on that weekend.
Ah, okay.
Jude, you okay?
So for me, I'll be at these guys in Arkansas, and we're also going, of course, to Alabama. We just got that one squared away. Several club matches. Probably go back to Navasota again for another club match. But me and Gary were talking about shooting an NRL Hunter match, but we were talking about going on a team match at Hunter match. Hunter match is a totally different platform, but it's a lot of fun. But your PRS rifle is not going to work. Yeah, you got to have at least, you got to qualify with a power factor, and you can't have a rifle over 16 pounds. So that's, you got to build one for something like that.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you can. It just doesn't count for anything, right?
Yes. It won't count for points or for the price table. You can just shoot for just for fun, but it won't. Right. It won't go into the scoreboard. Yeah.
That's kind of a shame that Texas doesn't like. ATX would be the perfect place to host a hunter match.
That would be a wonderful place.
That's above my pay grade there as far as why not. I didn't know that. But I will tell you guys, since we're all going to Little Rock, either Saturday night, don't make plans. We're going to the piano bar. You guys will love it. You guys will love it. That's downtown Little Rock. I think that's it's a great place. Just the whole downtown scene was incredible for us last year when we went. And, Billy puts on a heck of a match over there. You guys haven't been there. You're going to love it. And yeah, can't wait. It's a real good thing getting with my sponsor as far as, trying to help out with that match a little bit and see what we can do. So hopefully I'll have those new 15 power binos with the reticle in it from Apex by then. And, you guys can give me your review on it.
Nice.
So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think we've kept everybody long enough. Any parting shots? We'll start off with Mr. Gary.
Well, I mean, I've been shooting for a while. I started off with a production rifle, 6.5 on a Howa chassis, and kind of as I've developed through the years, I've wanted to take this hobby to another level, and I've enjoyed it extremely. Been thoroughly addicted. I've met a lot of great people like these guys here, and that's continued to just want me to shoot more. So if you can kind of approach it from that perspective. I think if you're a new shooter out there wanting to kind of learn about the sport, and you can find a group of guys that you can grow with, then I think you'll enjoy it and continue to have fun and keep coming out. So that's
Beautiful,
that's it for
beautiful.
me.
Well said. Well said. Mr. Tavis.
Sure. Yeah. For two things, for new shooters, if you're thinking about coming out, thinking about trying it out, nervous, we were all just as nervous as you are. Come to a match. You don't have to bring anything. We've got loaners at most matches. Just let the guys know ahead of time that you need a loaner to get you squared away. All the rest of the gear you'll borrow when you get there. You don't have to show up with anything if you got nothing. And the other one, bring the ladies out. You know, we're what, like 97% male dominated sport, and we have no advantage over the ladies in this one. So bring them out. We'll double the size of the matches. You know, if we all bring a partner out.
Yeah. I hope I know my wife will be watching this later, so I hope she's into the rimfire. Hadn't quite caught on with center fire yet, but I'll take whatever I can get. All right, Mr. Jude, close us out.
So, yeah, for the new shooters, one of the things I can say is just like Tavis said, just come out. Don't be scared. Hit us up if you have questions. You can squat up with us, especially on Facebook on the the Alamo group, Alamo PRC. If you have any question, everyone's willing to help you out. You need a rifle to shoot, you need any kind of equipment, someone's always willing to help you out. And man, we always need shooters. We try to make a count for how many from San Antonio, and I think we counted maybe 10 or 12. It seems like it's a big city, but we don't have a lot of people that are competing with us, and we would like to expand the group a little bit more, and it's a good
Gotcha.
sport to be in. It's a good community. Everyone's really helpful. If you need anything, just ask. We'll let you shoot our rifle if you want. We'll even give you the ammo that we have if we have enough, just to see if you like it or not, just to have fun. That's all it is.
Yeah. You make a good point for anybody out there that's watching that maybe is thinking of trying it out. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, those are good places. There's a lot of groups. Some of them are a little funny named. I know the South Texas Knitting Club for us down in the Corpus Christi area. So if you like knitting, that's a good place to start. You can get a lot of good information. Instagram, of course, Precision Rifle Series, Texas Precision, Alamo. These are all good places. Just type in a keyword and it should come up, or hit me up in the comments and we'll get you sorted out. So, but yeah, all great points, guys. I really, really enjoyed this little podcast. And I had said to myself, I said, we're going to try to keep it right about an hour, and we're right about 58.5 minutes. So perfect. Truly, truly, truly looking forward to being with you guys in Little Rock. And thanks for being on.
Hey,
Thanks,
no problem.
Thank you, Oscar.
Thanks, Oscar.
All right. Hang on a minute, and we will end the recording. Have a good night, guys.
All right.